Hello. So I have recently made the jump from a 60Hz monitor to a 144Hz monitor, and I was really interested if it would make me a faster driver, so I decided to conduct a little test. And also I decided to share it on YouTube because when I was researching this topic, there wasn't really any good material about it, so I'm just trying to fill in the void. This is my first ever YouTube video, so I'm not some crazy video editing specialist or anything, so I'm just trying to get the data to you in the simplest way possible. So I chose to do this test on the iRacing simulator with the Skip Barber car because this is the car that I'm most familiar with and most consistent with. And I know when I'm reaching my own potential, so I know there is not much more to improve anymore, so this test will be the best for me in that car for sure. The night when I did this test, I had been driving around Imola for I think I did 2 official sessions. I think I did about 2 sessions of hot lapping, and then I got to the test, and so altogether I think I drove about 4 hours, and I felt like I was really reaching my potential. So this first session, you can already see the times here. This is 60 Hz with unlocked FPS. It's how I drive. I have a pretty powerful computer, so my FPS can go up to even over 200 at times. So it feels pretty decent to drive like this actually. But I was still finding some time in this session. I was testing with the braking points a little. So there's 2 laps where I made a big mistake, and I decided to exclude these from the average calculations because I had a half spin on this lap and I had a slow down on this lap, so they're not really good to be included in the comparison. But overall, I was really getting pretty consistent here at around 203.5, and yeah, it was pretty much all laps at 203.5. Had a mistake here, I guess. But the way I felt in this session was that I could have done like a 0.3 or a high 0.2 anytime, but I just really couldn't pull a lap together, and almost all of these 0.5 laps here, I made like a 0.2 mistake somewhere. And you can see that the optimal sectors are giving me a lap time of 203.187, which was, I guess, almost doable. Like 203.3 was certainly possible, but I couldn't really pull a lap together, and going much faster than that, I definitely couldn't see myself doing that. Since I felt like after the first session that there was still like a little bit of time to be found maybe on my own, I decided to do a little bonus test, and I decided to try if lower FPS is going to make a difference. Of course, all of you who know that the 60 Hz monitor is only going to show you 60 frames per second. Some of you might be wondering why does it even make a difference if I have higher FPS on a 60 Hz monitor when it shows 60 frames per second anyway. But there are some good videos about it in the shooter community, and I'll just try to give you a quick explanation about it. So when your monitor shows you 60 frames per second, there is a 16.7 millisecond time frame when you get the frame from the monitor. So let's say you have 70 frames per second from the PC. That means you will have 1 frame created within that time frame of 16.7 milliseconds. And maybe that frame was created in the beginning of the time frame. So by the time your monitor will show you that frame, this frame could actually be 15 milliseconds old. And while that may not sound like much, you will be getting this delayed frame 60 times in a second. So basically you are reacting to a race car that's driving in the past by 15 milliseconds. And this isn't really the optimal way how to drive a race car. Now, when you have a stronger PC, which is maybe able to generate 180 frames per second, within that 16.7 millisecond time frame, your PC will create 3 different frames, and when your monitor is going to be showing you a frame, it will take the latest one. So this is the reason why higher FPS is better even on a 60 Hz monitor, because every time you'll be shown a frame, higher FPS will guarantee that the frame that your monitor is showing you has happened more recently. So your eyes are going to be getting more up-to-date information at all times. Okay, so let's show you the results of this little bonus test that I made. So these are the lap times. The purple is the fastest lap, and this one here shows you the loss or win against the previous session. As you can see, I actually averaged 0.2 slower than in the previous session. I did manage to get a slightly faster fastest lap, but like I said in this previous session, 0.3 was just almost coming every lap, but I just made some mistake somewhere. So yeah, the difference was the biggest in the beginning. The first 2 laps were just 2:05s, where I was able to do a 2:04.2 here right away. I guess it was just the difference of me having to get used to the lower FPS, because it really did feel very different. And when I was driving in this session, I actually felt like I had to drive in a different way, because whenever I made a small mistake and I had to correct a slide, it was actually, I could feel how I was just late to correct the slide. So I had this funky little S movement to come out of the drift, and I lost a lot more time than usually. So it was basically like I had to change my driving style with this situation, because I was really scared to lean on the rear tires, and I just had to kind of try to depend on a more understeering driving style, just relying on the front tires, just turning into the corner and trying to keep my rear as far from sliding as possible, which isn't really the most optimal way of driving. Okay, so now it is time to reveal the session that you have all been waiting for, the reason why you clicked on this video. And let's do it. And the times that are compared, the times of this next session are compared to the first one now. So let's see. Whoop. Seems like it's quite conclusive. So there is a lot of green here. So as you can see, I almost beat every single lap in the 144 Hz monitor. So I averaged 0.4 seconds faster than this mode, so it's actually over 0.6 faster than with the locked FPS. So it appears to me that the hertz make a difference, the FPS makes a difference, so it is definitely possible to buy some lap time in iRacing or sim racing in general, I guess. So yeah, the first lap was the only one that was lower, and I guess it may have been because my new monitor actually has a curve and my old one didn't. And when I started driving, there was a little bit of this weird illusion or something, like, because I was used to a non-curved monitor. But after 2 laps, I really didn't notice it anymore, and I just started enjoying the session. So just 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. This lap doesn't count. 0.3, 0.2, 0.7, 0.5, 0.6, 0.5. So the fastest lap was actually close to 0.6 seconds faster, and most of the laps here from lap 4, I basically drove faster than the fastest lap in this session, like throughout the whole session. So it was really a huge difference, and the optimum sectors actually got down to 202.546, so didn't even nail a good lap here, and I felt like the potential was even higher than before. And here, when I was driving in this session, it really felt like 203.1 or 0.0 is really the absolute best I can actually do, and 0.1s and 0.2s were really just quite mediocre laps here. So it seems to me that your monitor refresh rate actually can make you a lot faster. However, when something is to be proven, I like to have some really good sample size, so I decided to give the 60 Hz mode the best possible chance to beat 144 Hz the next day when I woke up. So I went and did a session in a 144 Hz mode as the first session of my day. So I was just trying to find the breaking points, trying to find the feel for the car. Really just a pretty messy session. So the first 4 laps were especially awful. I started finding it a little and I managed to put together a lap even faster than yesterday actually in this 144 Hz mode. But I still made some big mistakes at the end. So I put together one good lap, but the session overall was a really big mess. So because this was the first session of the day, it should really give the 60 Hz mode a chance to beat the 144 Hz. So let's see what happened here. And even though I compared this 60 Hz session to the very first session of the day, it's still basically all red. It's just, in the first few laps when I was really finding the speed for the day, I could get some green. And on the last lap where I made a big mistake here, I guess I could get in a green lap, but it's just all red again. And the average time difference was 0.154. Fastest lap difference was 0.4 again. And I actually improved the fastest lap for the 60 Hz mode also. Yeah, I actually drove faster than the optimum sectors yesterday. But in general, again, like this 203.5 is really where I seem to be ending up with the 60 Hz mode. So the times really seem to paint a good picture here. And if I would swap out those first 4 laps with the first 4 laps from here, I guess the average time difference would probably become around 0.4 again. So in my case, I could say that with the skip harbor at Imola, I'm gaining 0.4 seconds purely because I upgraded my monitor. So in conclusion, would it be worth the money to upgrade your monitor if you're still stuck on the 60 Hz one? Well, in my case, it definitely is. Even if you don't gain the time from your upgrade, just the difference between how the cars feel and how responsive they are, and how whenever you just do something with your wheel and pedals and you see it immediately on the screen instead of that small detectable delay, it's just an overall so much more enjoyable of an experience. So in my mind, even if I didn't gain the lap time, I would still definitely say that it would be worth the money to upgrade. So if you did like this video, don't drop a like, don't subscribe. However, keep one eye on this channel because if my UPS tracker is correct, then I'm about 3 days away from receiving a nice big package from Fanatec. So if you like the way I made this video and you like those colorful Excel sheets that I showed you, then I will happily make a video of similar sorts about upgrading from a Logitech G25, which is about 13 years old and has been a trusty wheel for me, but it is finally time to upgrade and I'm quite excited about it. Obviously, this will not be as easy as just jumping from one session to another and just comparing times between those sessions, because wheel and pedals will definitely need some time to get used to, but I will be keeping an eye on my results and gaps to the leaders and the kind of people that I'm similar pace with, and I will try to figure out a way to let you know about some rough estimates about time gains that I may or may not have. And if you cannot trust any of these numbers without seeing me drive, then you could visit my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RudyTurbo, just like this channel here. And if you have any questions about this test that I made or are too impatient to wait for the Fanatec video on YouTube, then come by my Twitch channel and maybe you will see some stuff earlier. So hopefully this video was bearable enough for some of you to make it all the way through here. So thank you for watching and see you in top split.